Starting from under the bridge this morning, and also, as you very well may know, very, very much later than usual. Because as usual, it's a lot harder getting up in winter than it is during summer. But yes, anyway, good morning to Shane O'Neill. Shane O'Neill, bud. Good morning to you. Good morning to Chris Ryan. Good morning to you. Kit Kat, good morning. Nigel and One, hello from Belgium. Hello to you. I'll tell you what. Winter is well and truly come. Cathal, good morning to you. Crowban, good morning from Thailand. Loki, good morning to you. I have to say, is that your world symbol? Because I've been playing that recently. But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. One and all. And welcome. Welcome to Good Morning Walk. You join us in the heart of Yorkshire, as they say, because we need to talk about state of world. Because I'll tell you what, if a Yorkshireman were in charge, we'd put this country straight. I'll tell you that now. Just me just breaking out my Yorkshire accent. Pretty Bird, greetings to you. Helen, greetings from good morning from Leeds. Good morning, good morning, good morning. One and all. Well, what a week it's been. What a bayek indeed. Completely right, it takes a northerner, yeah. It takes a northerner to properly sort out this country. Like I say, was it not the Lancastrians and Yorkists who got together and made Tudors, and Tudors put country right after all those French kings we had? But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, good morning. If you want some pony action, can't wait for these Tudors, these Threeders. Well, I keep wondering why only 2 doors. Aye, we've got 2 doors, so you can have one going in and one going out. That's how it works. But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. For us, really been a really unfortunate week. And I suppose the first question to ask, will I be keeping my Labour membership after this week? Yes, I will. Because even after such a disappointing week at the Labour convention, which we'll get into, don't worry, I will be keeping my Labour membership. Because, as you very well know, I am all about participation on this channel. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. If you are not participating in politics, you might as well not be involved in politics. That means getting involved in your local party knowing what's going on the ground and understanding, what's going on. Like, how many people can honestly say they've been to a town council meeting? Like, how many people do you even know in your life that have been to a town council meeting? Yeah. Like, bar probably like me and my granddad, who went back in the 60s, or should we say even the 50s, to talk about having, motorway access to Barnsley. That's how long ago it was since he went. I said when I joined, I wanted to be sort of more active, sort of in my local party, and learn more about, what's going on in like my local area. So the big advantage of the pandemic is that most of the council meetings have been online. They've been available with recordings, and we've had a right, as we say in Yorkshire, we've had a right, Barney, recently, with taxi drivers wanting to raise the cost of their fares. But all the councillors, in a very, very angry session, shall we say, said no. So, local politics can be very exciting sometimes. You've just got to get involved. And you might wonder how you do it. Well, first things first is check out your local town hall, because they will have all that information that you need. That's the first thing you need to do. And it starts from there. Really does start from there. And like I say, I want to keep myself involved in politics. And as I always tell you, you can do more good with having 1 foot in the door than you can 2 feet outside it. There was, again, as there always is, after such a, shall we say, disappointing performance by Labour, of lots of people on Twitter, cutting up their Labour card, saying they're no longer going to be a member, etc., etc. The problem is you lose so much power by doing that, because you're not participating in your party anymore. And as lots of people have observed this week, there were 2 very key things that definitely emerged. That one, if Labour ever wants to get in power again, it needs to listen to its members. It needs to stop listening to all these focus groups. Because sometimes these focus groups, people that they're listening to, they're either asking completely the wrong questions, or they're really not the right people to ask. It was one of the things that came out very clearly is that the Labour members have more ideas, not only just in terms of politics, but policy, that Labour could bring in to the party if it listened to the members. And it's become very, very clear Starmer is not. So we need to find a way to make Starmer listen. That should be priority number 1. Definite priority number 1. And we need to learn to understand how we can make that happen. Nope. Some doggos. Oh. Morning. Morning. Don't know if you can see them there. But yeah, we need to find a way really for the voices of the party to be heard. And we need to make sure that we are being listened to. And leaving the party is not a way you do that. Because why on earth should a Labour leader listen to someone who's not part of the party? You know, I do really feel that that is the definitely one of the reasons. So, you know, that is one of the things that has happened here. Oh, good morning, it's 3 AM in Jamaica. Well, good morning to you from Jamaica. So, Bratislava, that has to be in Eastern European somewhere, but I'm not familiar with it. So we have to find a way to make our voices heard. And it's really disappointing that we've got a leader who's not going to listen to the members. That's the disappointing outcome of all of this. That's the disappointing thing. Because Starmer said during his leadership run, he wanted to engage with the left, you know. He said the Corbyn years all should not be thrown to the dustbin and we should take the positive from that. And that was a good thing to say. But it definitely appears, as there was a piece in The Guardian just last week from his former campaign manager who said just how much he now regrets helping Starmer. Because it does look like he lied. And that sets a really unfortunate precedent that if Starmer's willing to lie to become leader of the party and to abandon his promises at that early of a stage, he could very well do so if he ever became, you know, Prime Minister. Which, to be honest, is very, very disappointing. Incredibly disappointing from all this. So that's the first, at least, takeaway from this. The second one which came out, which was, I found quite interesting. I was reading a lot of the sum-ups of what a lot of people thought, especially people who cover politics, what they thought, shall I say, of Starmer's speech. And there's one thing that really stuck out to me, and I really do agree, after watching like the rest of his speech now. And that really is that probably was the greatest speech ever given by a former leader of the Crown Prosecution Service. You know, and it nails to the point exactly of how Starmer has completely and just is unable to read the mood of the country. You know, they were sitting here with almost rolling crises, with more on the way. You know, the winter of discontent is coming. Well, it's here. You know, furlough officially ended. I think it was either last this weekend, or is it next weekend, but it's officially ended, which, as we said before, compare our furlough with most other European countries' versions of furlough. It's still going. They're having like reduced payments, and they're also doing it on a sector by sector basis, so that the sectors that are suffering most have the help that they need. Ours has just ended. Which tells you everything you need to know really about the Tory party and just how short-sighted they even are. But it was not the speech that Labour or even a future leader of the country should be giving at this moment in time. Like I said, that quote, I can't remember who said it now, but it was completely right on the money. It was the greatest speech ever given by a former Crown prosecutor. It really was. And the second Boris opened his mouth in Manchester in a couple of weeks' time? Well, it's all going to be forgotten. Because Boris is going to play to his crowd, he's going to try and play to his activists. He doesn't really have to do anything. It's a mid-term government, and he can sort of really do, or say, sort of anything he wants, really. What was that? Son of Viking just said the Norwegian furlough ended, and you're all back to work in the office. Yeah, you haven't really noticed much. But then again, and this is one of the other things that really annoys me, because especially in like Norway and Sweden, especially at the start of the pandemic, were used as examples as to why like we should keep the country open and like keep them working. The problem is, when you look at the benefit system that people in like Sweden and Norway and even Denmark receive, the Tories would never, ever allow that amount of funding or just that amount of stuff to go into the benefit system. So, whereas sort of most of the, shall we say, the Scandinavian countries had furlough, they had so much more as well, because there was, and here we call it, as to why it is there in the first place, what we call the social safety net. And you can either believe in the social safety net or you don't. But at that point, you have to understand that there are economic consequences to doing this. You know, poverty costs the country money. You know, the deprivation that we see in the country, the difference between, you know, the north and the south, costs the country money. So it's, you know, if the Tories were such, shall we say, economical geniuses as they, oh, the wind's getting up a bit there, hope you can still hear me. If the Tories were such economical geniuses as they claim to be, you'd think that they'd be willing to recognise that. But they don't, because, again, they're Tories, and it is completely against their ideology to give anything to the working class. But this brings us now onto the very interesting point, is that a lot of people in the Tory party are very, very annoyed that Boris is now leaning left economically on the economy. And this is not a genuine thing that the Tories are all of a sudden going to, spouting like, left economic sentiments or etc, etc. It's that it's being done so that they can stay in power. It's being done as a very cynical ploy to keep themselves in power. Give them just enough stuff so that they don't get too angry about all this. Because there was immense pressure, immense pushback, shall we say, against the Tories even bringing in furlough in the first place. So it was only done because they knew that they would not be able to weather any type of storm or any potential, shall we say, future election, because any party could literally turn around and say, the Tory party does not care about you. Look what they did during the pandemic. And ultimately that will still be used. That will still be used at the next, the next general election. There are a lot of people in the, shall we say, the non-parliamentary Conservative Party asking themselves this question: how much of a Tory really is Boris, and should he really be the leader of our party? Which makes it very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Because, as we've said before, Boris promised so much to everyone. We've even got places down south who voted like 60% to leave in these towns and cities down south, who are like, well, Brexit isn't going well. What on earth is going on? Why are you doing this? And as I've said before, one of the fair weather barometers we've really got to use for like our, shall we say, path back into the European Union is how much is how much the more moderates in the Conservative Party are pushing back and pushing us to rejoin the single market and customs union. That's going to be the interesting point of where all this happens. But of course, like I say, that's just one step in the journey. But like I say, it will pretty much be the barometer to test, because it will be, shall we say, their donors, and shall we say, the more upper members of the party are losing money. They're losing out. Which, if you look back at the original reason for us joining in the first place, was because UK businesses were missing out on the opportunity that were there in the European market. And now they've been cut off from that. You've only just got to look at the point where the financial services industry has been absolutely well and truly cut off from Europe. You know, trillions upon trillions of pounds worth of assets have left London, have left the UK for good. And just this weekend, just as we have seen lots of hauliers, lots of farmers, slaughterhouses push for more visas and more people from the EU to come in to this country, because, like I said, it doesn't matter if you start shipping people in from, again, around the world. It's far easier, cheaper and economical for them to come from Europe than anywhere else. But of course, you can't have that, because after all, a lot of these, shall we say, the reasons people voted were, well, shall we say, hatred of Europeans, hatred of Poles, Romanians and Bulgarians, which is what happened. It was what the right-wing press pushed for ages. It's what the far right has pushed. And as a lot of people have said, look, the Tory party essentially just became the Brexit party. The really hard Brexit that a lot of Tories really wanted to avoid, oh, there we go, happened under Boris. We might have got a deal, but it's been one of the hardest possible Brexits that could have happened. And remember, this skeleton-like deal came from a man who said staying in the single market customs union was a valid option. So any future Prime Minister who wanted to rejoin the single market customs union could very well do without a referendum. Because after all, to quote the brain of Brexit, no one is seriously talking about leaving the single market and customs union. Only a fool would consider leaving the single market. And it was that very thing, shall we say, that I can't remember the book what it was from now. Shall we say the golf carts on the golf courses of England were screeching in anger. And it's how much will Boris Johnson pay attention to that? And how long can he keep his own party sweet, it seems. And there's a very good article that I think we're going to go over, probably sooner rather than later, and I'll explain why soon. That we are like Liz Truss was a Remainer. A lot of like the really pro-Brexiteer people now were Remainers who had a bizarre road to Damascus moment conversion and then suddenly started chanting for Brexit when they know and made arguments and predicted the very things that would even happen. And Liz Truss, being one of the most prolific tweeters in recent times, indeed she had a tweet this weekend She's been talking to the Latvian Prime Minister about building closer relationships. Well, here's what happened. You aren't going to have a closer relationship with Latvia unless we're in the single market and customs union. You know, there's this idea that somehow we can just talk to the individual European countries and just ignore the fact that the European Union exists. You know, this is the bizarre thing that we're going to see now. It's the exact same way that conservatives, not only just from here in the UK, but around the world, treat China. Oh, we can just ignore China. It'll be fine. But no, that's not how the world works. But anyway, you may have just picked up on there that I said we'll have to do a video sooner than later. Because next week, I'm potentially going to be starting a contract job where I might not be allowed to, shall we say, talk openly and publicly about politics. Which could mean this might be the last Good Morning Walk for a while. Like I say, I will let you know what happens on that front. But if you see my channel go dark and, shall we say, start posting, shall we say, alternative content, like me talking about Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe even 40k more, I know there's at least one of you out there who will like that. But yeah, I might have to do that, unfortunately. Like I say, it's I might have to shall we say, follow civil service rules. So, like I say, I will let you know what happens. But needless to say, I will let you know. I will tell you all what will happen. I will keep you apprised of the situation. But I will probably find out on Tuesday what happens. I've applied for the new 007 vacancy. Well, well. Needless to say, like I say, I will let you know. And of course, I will understand. You know, if people want to pull support from like my Patreon page, and you know, unsub from the Pony Club, I will perfectly understand that. In fact, I'm probably expecting that probably everyone will, because I will not only make an announcement on here, I will make an announcement on those channels as well. But like I say, I will let you know, because in the way that I am being employed as sort of a temporary contract, I'm not sure how much of the, shall we say, civil service rulebook I will have to follow. I'm currently trying to find that out, because again, anyone who works for the civil service is meant to be very politically neutral. I'm even having to see if I have to ask the question of can I still be a member of the Labour Party? yeah, this is it, FSM. I'm just gonna have to check out what the rules are, but I want confirmation from them more than anything, because I don't want to be in there and then, like, you know, a month into my contract, they say, oh yeah, we see you've got this YouTube channel, you know, shut it down or you'll lose your job. I don't want to be in that situation, essentially. So, as they say, it's, in this case, as they say, sometimes it is better to ask for forgiveness when you break the rules, but when you're joining, of course, potentially civil service, it's very, shall we say, here's the rule book, play by it or else. And like I say, I am going to have to check what these rules are. I do hope, of course, this isn't the last, shall we say, good morning walk. I do want to continue doing these and doing these videos because I'm quite enjoying them. But like I say, I shall let you know of the situation, what happens, and how potentially that's going to work. So, like I say, I will let you know. Like I say, I will keep you informed about this, but if my channel, shall we say, suddenly goes dark and stops posting content, then at least some of you out there will know why, of course, about that current situation. And if I start posting such things, it's you know why. Why take such a job? Well, here in the UK, civil servants have a very, very important position in our politics, and it is very, very important that the civil servants here in the UK are seen as non-political entities. And I agree to that. When you are a civil servant, it doesn't matter who's in charge, you have to play by the rules. Oh, thank you very much, Chris Wyan. One last coffee for the road. Thank you very much. You know, you have to play by the rules, because you could be working for a Labour government, you could be working for a Tory government, you could be working for a Lib Dem government, you might even be working for an SNP government, and you might be politically against what they're saying, but your job is far, far more important to the running of the country, and your political opinion should not negatively affect the job that you do. And I agree with that stance on sort of the civil service. And that's why, you may remember, just a couple of months ago, I spoke out against the fact that the Tories, of all people, were trying to politicise the civil service. And I spoke out against that because I did not agree. At the time, I think it was Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg were heavily going after one of the top people in the civil service who had just quit at that time. So it is in keeping with my sort of principles, because I don't think the civil service should be that politicised and be made into like a... Okay. I've got... This is quite funny. I don't know if you can see him. There's a dog, and then his owner is all the way in the background over there. I don't know what that dog's doing, but yeah, I will let you know, because, like I say, I want to do what's right. Because this job that I've been offered is a very, very good opportunity, and it is something I don't want to pass up. Essentially, it is helping, shall we say, a local town centre, not in this county, but close to it. Oh, morning.
Morning.
Oh. So I will let you know, because like I say, I do want to do right by the rules and what they say, and like I say, it's train passing overhead. It's a very, very good opportunity, and it's very, very rare that you get these types of opportunities sometimes, and I think sometimes you've just got to go and grab that opportunity, because it's not only just this job I've got, I've accepted. Like I say, I might in a few weeks' time be going for an interview at a brewery, because again, that's another very rare opportunity. Cathology, thank you very much. Congrats on the job. Hope not an issue, surely. So this is, like I say, I do not want this to be the last Good Morning Walk. I really do want to keep making these videos, because I've enjoyed making these videos so much, and I've enjoyed, even though I don't seem like I'm interacting with you all, I do enjoy reading your comments. I do enjoy seeing the interactions that you have with other people. I do enjoy being part of that. Oh, Chthonic. If you go, then we know we've valued your time and efforts in bringing us the facts. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I say, above all, I really do not want this to be the last Good Morning Walk. Like I say, I've enjoyed making this content for you. I've enjoyed doing these walks. And like I say, even if I can't talk about politics, I will definitely keep on making, some form of really geeky content. Some of you probably won't enjoy, but I understand that. D&D, 40k, general, shall we say, nerdery. It's not for anyone. But yeah, like I say, I do understand, but I will let you know as soon as I know. I will let you all know. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this will not be the last Good Morning Walk, but if it is, you know why. And like I say, in fact, no, we're not going to say goodbye yet, because until I know the rules, I'm not going to say goodbye. So, with fingers crossed and everything crossed, I say to you, thank you once again for joining me on this fantastic Good Morning Walk, as always. If you can't be safe, be sensible. And it is not goodbye until it is goodbye. Like I say, I will let you know. But hopefully, like I say, fingers crossed, I might very well see you all soon for another Good Morning Walk.